No, there may be a bigger issue there, but he's coming back out now.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. These are the men who live by the grace of God in 600 horsepower, the Ground Pounders, the Mod Squad, the North-South Shootout Modifieds. Watch them off turn number 4 as we send them on their way.
And quick jump into the lead there for Carson Lofton. And battling right now throughout the top 5 as we see coming around to complete lap number 1. Lofton's going to lead it.
Lofton leads it. Paulie Hartwig to the 2nd spot, Lauder to 3rd. Like you said, this could have been a 602 race last year. Jake Crum, late model Jake Crum in that number 12 machine.
Yeah, former winner of the Martinsville 300. He's just in front of this battle right now, back for 5th. Brian Lofton in the 15, the Shady Grady entry right now, trying to hold off the 99 car
of Ronnie Williams. Yeah. Ronnie Williams from Tolland, Connecticut, driving for Jamie Tomeno. Jamie Tomeno has 2 99 cars here in the field this weekend. One's green, one's purple.
Back into turn number 1 they go.
Whoa.
And Andy Seiss there had a look down on the inside of him from Jonathan Cash, another late model stock primarily driver that we see out there racing here in the Tour Type Modifieds at the North-South Shootout.
Hey, you can see Andy Seiss right there in the middle of your screen. Cash is right behind him, tucked up to his bumper, and about a car length back is Jimmy Blewett in that number 99 NJ. But here we are going back to the leader. Carson Lofton with about a 3-car length advantage over Paulie Hartwig, the 3rd, and the ace in the whole landscaping sponsored 73. And there's Brian Lofton leading that small line of cars. He's got Jake Crum just in front of him. And there's the other Myers brother, Jason Myers, in the number 4. 4 wins at Bowman Gray for him this year.
Yeah, Jason in the 4 car right now, back in the 7th spot. We've seen him look around a couple of times trying to work around that 99 car of Jimmy Blewett.
There's Brian Lofton to the inside of Jake Crum in the 12C. That team based out of Pennsylvania. Crum also based out of Statesville, North Carolina.
Yeah, former UARA late model champion and winner of the Martinsville 300 back in 2009. Now feeling a challenge down into turn number 1. He's stuck up on that outside right now.
That's one of the worst things here. It's real easy to get freight trained and lose a bunch of spots if you get stuck up there. So right now, Crum trying to fall back into line. Tom Buzzy in the number 25 machine. He gets ahead of him.
Right now, just logging some laps here. Coming around to complete lap number 9. Carson Lofton out front. He's got about a 5-car length lead right now over Paulie Hartwig. And again, Jason Myers looking down on the inside of Jimmy Blewett as they go into turn 3.
That's Ronnie Williams in the purple 99, and the green 99 is actually Jimmy Blewett. Ronnie Williams from Tolland, Connecticut, doing a fine job right now. Usually drives for Adam Scavera in the SK Modifieds and in the Tour Type Modifieds in the Tri-Track Series.
Yeah, and Ronnie Williams is a tough competitor. Had some big wins as they go into turn number 1, and there you see Myers as he continues to run back in behind. Now, those guys that dropped back to the rear at the beginning right now not making any headway, actually all kind of running in a line right now, and there is a lot of tire conservation here. There you see those guys. The 14 of Patrick Emmerling, the 1 of Burt Myers, the 60 of Matt Hirschman, and Kyle Sisko. Right now they run 18th, 19th, 20th, and 21st, so not really advancing, but this is something we've seen in the Smart Modified Tour. Guys kind of hold back, just trying to stay on the lead lap.
Oh, challenge for the lead, or for a second right there, as Dean Lauder goes to the inside of Paulie Hartwig the 3rd, and Lauder in that Lauder Construction sponsored 63 is definitely on the move right now. I tell you what, these Tour Type Modifieds really played right into Dean Lauder. He took to these cars pretty quickly, and there goes Jason Myers past Ronnie Williams in the 99.
Josh, you're talking about
Josh Lauder. Sorry.
It is confusing because
there's a lot of Louders. Yeah. There's a lot of Wards. There's a lot of Blewetts. There's a lot of them. Yep.
Baldwins now.
A lot of Baldwins too. Yep. It's becoming a huge family.
There's the leader, Carson Lofton, working across the stripe, and there you see the advantage he's got right now over Josh Louder in the 63, who rides second. Jason Myers, he was able to move past the 99.
And right about now, Carson Lofton in that 23 is about a half a straightaway away from catching and lapping Matt Hirschman, Burt Myers, Cisco, and Patrick Emmerling. So this kid is on cruise control right now.
Yeah, and, you know, like we said, we've seen it a lot in the Smart Modified Tour races where a lot of the fast cars are laid back. They just try to stay on the lead lap. And, you know, if the cautions don't fall their way once the leaders catch them, then they have to kind of punch it and go racing. But right now, no need for that. As we see a battle here for fourth right now. Brian Lofton in the 15, Jason Myers in the 4. Jason Myers looking pretty good right now here in the early going.
Well, when I talked to Jason Myers yesterday, he was very happy with the car. I said, how happy are you? He said, this car is fast. He says, we don't have qualifying speed. He says, but we have race speed, and that's what we're going to use, and we're just going to try to run as fast as we can during this race, pick up cars methodically, and just be there at the end.
And that's what he's done so far.
Jason Myers, you can call him the Iron Man of the NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Tour. He started almost every single event the series had. So he had the most starts of any competitor in that series.
Well, right now he's giving Brian Lofton in that 15 car all he can handle. They go off turn 2, down the back straightaway. They continue to battle for fourth. Lofton may not want to be racing this hard right now. It looked like he kind of opened the inside up there for Jason Myers going into turn 3, but Myers elected not to take it.
We're also very early in this race. There's a long way to go. You don't want to use up your equipment right away. You definitely want to be able to be there for races end. There goes Tom Buzzy to the inside of Ronnie Williams. Williams looks a little bit loose. He can't get that forward bite.
Well, the story that's about to develop is the leader, Carson Lofton, has caught Matt Hirschman and all of these drivers that elected to take the challenge. I don't think this is any indication of how strong they are. As you see, Josh Louder also there in the 63. But now, just as we said, the leaders have caught them. Now they've got to go. They've got to try and stay on that lead lap. They've, they've held back and saved as much as they can, at least for now.
Well, the spotters on the radio saying the leaders are coming. You definitely don't want to go a lap down, but you want to conserve your equipment for later in the race. If you watch, that gap is also hanging steady between Carson Lofton and Matt Hirschman. Matt Hirschman, he's a smart competitor. He knows what he's doing, and right about now, he hasn't shown his hand just yet.
No. As smart as they've ever been, too, in these tour-type modifieds. There you see Carson Lofton, the leader. Josh Louder right back in there behind him, about 2 car lengths back. And those young drivers right now exactly where they want to be.
And Louder is catching Carson Lofton. You can see each and every lap he's inching closer and closer to his back bumper.
But, you know, it goes back to what we were talking about with Burt Myers, Matt Hirschman, and those other guys. You'd have no idea what anybody's showing right now. No, you know, I watch these races and you really don't have any perspective on how strong anybody is till you definitely make a pit stop and get those tires changed. But I'd say 40 laps to go maybe, as we see over on the left side of the screen, the battle for third developing as Brian Lofton and Jason Myers have caught the 73 of Paulie Hartwig out of turn 2.
Good 3-car battle right here. And Jason Myers actually looks like he might be the fastest of the 3. As he came off the corner, he was looking to the inside of Brian Lofton to possibly make a pass, but not in there close enough yet. But Jason Myers, another one of those drivers we're going to have to keep an eye on, because he was quietly fast. He was one of those guys that did not make a lot of waves, but he was up there at the speed charts.
Well, again, right now, just logging laps, you know, trying to get these laps in, stay on the lead lap, and, be there at the end with a chance to win. With 31 laps completed, Carson Lofton, the leader, Josh Louder in second, followed by Paulie Hartwig, Brian Lofton, Jason Myers in the top 5. Then it's Tom Buzzy, Jake Crum, Jimmy Blewett, and Andy Sice as the field races off of turn number 2 right now. That's that battle for third that we've been watching. Paulie Hartwig in the 73, Brian Lofton in the 15, and Jason Myers in the 4. Back to turn number 1 they go.
Well, also, Alan, you got to remember one of the strategy keys that they have in this race is they do have a rule. You have to make at least one pit stop in this race. You cannot run the race without coming into pit. So everybody is going to have to pit at least one time.
And again, it goes back to what we were saying earlier. Not that you would think anybody would not take that pit stop, because you know, you may shake up when you do it and stuff, but you're going to have that fresh rubber if you want to have any shot at the win here, as this race for third continues now, and they continue to work their way around some of the slower cars at the tail of the field.
Well, we're getting closer and closer to lap 50, and there will be a break at lap 50 for these guys to come down pit road and make adjustments, so we are finding that out from the race officials.
These guys right now just trying to get to that break, trying to get to lap 50. Right now we're on lap 36, so about 14 laps away from there. Now Brian Lofton looking down the inside of Hartwig for third. And
Hartwig just gave him enough room to let him roll on by. The spotter was letting him know, listen, we're early enough in this race. Let him go. Don't burn up your equipment. Brent Wentz is the spotter for Parley Hartwig III. He comes here from the Cup Series, actually. He's won 2 Daytona 500s and the Indianapolis 500 as a spotter, so he's definitely an accomplished spotter with Parley Hartwig.
Tom Buzzy in that 25 car right now. He rides in 5th, and seen John Smith win a lot of races in that car. And, of course, Bobby Labonte drove it last year and had a couple of wins in the Smart Tour. Now Tom Buzzy driving it. As you see, Paulie Hartwig, the 11-year-old, coming off that 602 modified win in the 73, running back in 6th.
And it won't be before long before we see Paulie Hartwig III winning tour-type modified events. He definitely has the ability, he has the talent, and he is definitely showing his muscle anytime he comes to these races. Muscle for a 12-year-old kid.
Well, there are the leaders right now. They work out of turn number 2. Carson Lofton in the 23, who, as you mentioned, he's only 15. And then the 63 of Josh Louder. And you see Burt Myers and Matt Hirschman. If you're just tuning in, they took the Promoters Challenge. They're not leading. They're on the tail end of the lead lap, but they're just trying to make it to lap 50, and that's exactly what we thought, that they would hang back, let Carson Lofton get to them, and then kind of maintain what they've got, and that's what we've seen so far.
Yeah, right about now, those guys that took the back row challenge don't want to lose a lap. You lose a lap, and you're really going to set yourself behind the 8 ball. But what we're watching right now is Josh Louder in that number 63 with only a handful of tour modified starts under his belt, and he is doing a fine job out there running second. Now we're moving a little bit deeper in the field. Here's Andy Seiss in the number 70 machine. Andy Seiss running 10th. That's the battle for the 10th spot right now, as John Smith is knocking on the back door in that 07 Hayes Jewelers sponsored car.
You know, when we were watching the leaders there, too, you might have noticed Brian Lofton has caught that duo. So 3 cars up at the front as we go back to this battle again for 10th between Andy Seiss and John Smith in that 07. There you see Smith down the inside of Seiss. They work through turns 3 and 4. And looks like Smith's going to clear him. That's going to also open up the inside lane for Michael Rich if he wants it. Over on the left side of the screen, again, they're the leaders, Carson Lofton and Josh Louder.
Pretty cool to see Michael Rich running in a modified. I mean, all the years that we've seen him on the track has been a car with fenders. He's running the Xfinity Series. He also raced in the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series. He had 15 career wins there.
Won some championships and really was the stalwart of that original Pro Cup Series.
Looking at some of the possible lap traffic, not lapped yet, but it's the tail end of the longest line, and that's Carson Lofton in the 23, who is your leader, who is catching Matt Hirschman. Hirschman in jeopardy of going a lap down right now, but they did take the promoter's option, the promoter's challenge, to go to the rear of the field.
Well, just 1 lap away when they come around this time, Derek, and if I'm Carson Lofton, and you can see it looks like he's picked it up a little bit, he would love nothing better than to get up there and put Matt Hirschman a lap down, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it.
Well, the break is coming up at lap 50. So once we hit lap 50 in this race, they're going to throw the caution flag, and everybody is going to come down for a fuel-only stop. So that was one of the things that the officials had made evident to me, to let the fans know at home that we are going to have a break very soon, and the cars are going to come down for just fuel.
Yeah, and we may get 51 completed here because they're letting the entire field come by. Matt Hirschman, last car on the lead lap, and there is a caution, and they did not count that last lap, so they got to lap 50, and caution's out, and Matt Hirschman, the final car on the lead lap. Still 20 cars on the lead lap, just a couple of laps down. Jonathan Cash and Chris Hatton, and now this fuel-only stop on lap 50 is coming up.
Been an interesting race so far. We're seeing guys run at the front of the field that we don't usually see. Guys like Carson Lofton, Josh Lauder, Paulie Hartwig III. So it's been really fun to be able to see these guys perform.
It's got to be, I don't know how these guys like Burt Myers and Matt Hirschman can have the discipline to pace themselves. And then, if you're Carson Lofton or Josh Lauder or Brian Lofton, you've equally got to be as disciplined. Even though you're up front, you're still trying to save. So right now, a whole bunch of strategy going on from these teams, and we'll have to see how it all works itself out.
It's a balance, Alan. Yep. It's definitely a balance. And beautiful fall afternoon as the sun's starting to go down. Look at that fall foliage. We're definitely into the autumn time of the year. We're getting that golden hue on the trees.
Yeah, it's always pretty here at Caraway Speedway this time of the year. See, the time the 99 comes across, it scores. They get that fuel in.
That's Neil. One more time. Carson Lofton in the 23, Tom Buzzy in the 25. That's going to be the front row as we're getting ready to come back to green.
All right, here they come out of turn number 4. Kind of a disjointed start.
Whoa, watch out.
Contact, and Lofton's going to spin. He never got it back.
Heartbreaker for Carson Lofton.
And that started way back. I mean, almost at the start-finish line. We talked about it being the start looked pretty ragged. And Tom Buzzy caught him in the right rear, and once he caught him and he got sideways, he never could get the car back under him.
That's a tough break too. You're under throttle too. The tires are cold, which doesn't help either. You've run about the half of this race that the rubber's getting laid down, and what happens is when you have those caution laps, you pick all of that rubber back up again. Yeah, cold tires, rubber picked up on it, and that's the end result. Tough break.
He's not done. Still plenty of laps to go, and he's going to be in very good company with some of those big names that are back there with him. But it just got a lot more difficult, that's for sure, for Carson Lofton.
Well, now he's going to have some pretty good teachers in front of him because he's got Matt Hirschman and Burt Myers.
Yeah, I just run behind Matt Hirschman.
Let him open up. That's it. Let him open up the holes. Just follow him to the front.
Stay right there with him.
That's right. If I was on the radio, the spotter to Carson Lofton, I'd be telling him, follow that 60 car.
All right, let's watch. You see the contact has already happened.
Yeah.
And once Lofton got sideways, and I think you're right, the tires were cooler. Watch the 25 and 23, and they're going to make contact right there.
Yeah, he was
and never gets it back.
Right, he was out of shape even before the entry of the corner.
Well, they both were. And it looks like Lofton.
Somebody come up.
Well, it looks like Lofton's trying to get up and get that better angle going into turn 1.
The arc.
And if you go back to the 602 race, and we've talked about it, these races are completely different because of the horsepower and the tires with these cars. But the inside always worked. You didn't see somebody trying to get up and take that angle. They would go on the low side down into turn number 1, and it was fine. And I don't know that would have worked for Carson Lofton, but he definitely didn't expect this to happen.
Well, Alan, now we have a rookie that is going to restart on the pole in that number 63 of Josh Lauder.
Yeah.
So this is going to be really interesting. A rookie for the first time is going to lead the North-South Shootout.
Boy, in the last 10 minutes, it's really gone bad for the Lofton family.
Tough break, but it's going to be fun to watch Carson Lofton, too, because now he's going to be up on the wheel to try to come back through the field. 75 laps to go in this race.
Of course, now we have not completed a lap, so you see Carson Lofton and Brian Lofton still listed in the top 3 on your ticker. Once they come around and they complete that next lap, then it cycles and
Right.
it'll be back like it's supposed to
Well,
be.
we're not a Cup Series. We don't have about a dozen scoring loops
Right.
around the track. We have one scoring loop, and that's right at the start-finish line.
And these laps aren't counting. It won't update until you count that next lap. So we're coming to the choose. So far, inside, outside, pretty standard here. Nobody mixing it up so far in these first 3 or 4 rows.
The deeper in the field you start, the more you should look at that outside option to kind of hopscotch your way up there to kind of get a few spots. But once you get up to the front, stick to that inside line. We're getting ready to rock and roll one more time. Solid Rock Carriers pace car is going to pull off. And we're going to get this field back underway and back to racing.
Yep, and you know these drivers, the spotters, have told them clean these tires off as the green's out. You could see the marbles being flung up the outside of turn 4 there as the green's back out. Buzzy drives it down deep into turns 1 and 2. He's going to clear louder out of turn 2.
Boy, Tom Buzzy sure does have a fast car, too. He's driving that 25 car this weekend. We usually see him in the number 5, but traded rides for something else. And, boy, he's really making the most of it. And here comes Jason Myers. Again, we talked about him being fast. He's challenging for 3rd.
Yep, down the back straightaway to the inside of Paulie Hartwig, the 3rd. Hartwig's hanging tough, though.
And there's both of Jamie Tomeno's cars just right outside the top 5. That's the green and purple car, the 99s. Ronnie Williams leading Jamie Blewett. They've got Jay Crum in front of him. Crum now in that 12 car looking to go to the inside of Paulie Hartwig, the 3rd. And he'll take the spot away. And here comes Jimmy Blewett to the inside of his teammate.
And Jay Crum, we've not seen a lot of him in a modified, but he is a very aggressive driver as John Smith now works to the inside of the 99, trying to open up a lane for Michael Rich there in the 11. It looks like he's going to be able to.
Now, John Smith has wins to his credit in Tour Type Modified competition. He's won at this racetrack before. Matter of fact, driving the car that is out front right now, that number 25. And there's Ronnie Williams. Ronnie Williams fading fast. He's lost about 3 or 4 spots. He's stuck up on the outside.
But again, you don't know if maybe these guys are going harder than he wants to go right now, and he's, electing to drop back. You never know. As we go closer to the front now, there's Jimmy Blewett in the black and green 99 with John Smith right on his bumper as they go back down the back straightaway. Front straightaway, excuse me.
Jimmy Blewett got the last-minute call to come down here to run. They weren't going to run. And Jamie Tomeno called him up and said, hey, this is your brother's race. We got a bunch of my guys. You get a bunch of your guys. You can run my car. So it's pretty cool. When I talked to Jimmy, he said it's a whole New Jersey gang that's all working together on that car. A couple of his guys and a couple of Jamie's guys.
They're back behind Michael Rich in the 11 car. See this, I thought it was the 70 of Andy Sice trying to get a look there. I think it's actually the 17 of Kyle Sisko.
That is the 17 of Kyle Sisko and the PSR products. Yeah, he currently is the highest running competitor of all the guys that elected to go to the rear of the field. But this race is far from over. We are going to see comers and goers all race long.
Yeah, right now he's back in the 9th spot with that 17 car. He's back in behind the 11 of Michael Rich, and this battle continues between Jimmy Blewett and the 07 of John Smith.
Well, looking back deeper in the field, Emmerling, Hirschman, and Myers are currently running 12th, 13th, and 14th out there.
Which is right about where they want to be, I would say, because they're actually closing in on halfway now here with just 64 laps to go.
61 laps are in the record book, and boy, John Smith has got a very fast car this weekend. We didn't really talk much about him during qualifying or during practice, but boy, he's really making some hay, just picking them off one by one, and he is letting Jimmy Blewett know that I'm here and I want to get past.
Back behind them, there's Sisko taking a peek to the inside of Michael Rich. They battle back for 8th, and just in front of them again, John Smith. He keeps showing that nose to Jimmy Blewett, letting him know, hey, I won't buy.
And Rich drifts up the track a little bit. Cisco's going to try to stick a wheel inside. John Smith in front of him going to try to do the same thing, but gets the door slammed in front of his face. Smith again looks to the inside.
Whoops.
Oh, we've got King turned around off of turn number 2. That's Jonathan King in the Sundrop sponsored Hillbilly entry.
Yeah, they've just never really got this car going good today. And see some smoke there from underneath the hood, so that could be more than just a spin that caused that issue here for Jonathan Cash.
Don't know if there's any liquid coming out from underneath the car. I mean, the smoke that's coming out. Tough to tell if it's tough to tell where it's coming from, actually.
Yeah. Well, whatever it is, it's not good.
And that is the Hillbilly Racing entry. We usually see that car white and pink. Of course, David Hill, the longtime car owner of that race car. They've had a lot of great talented drivers in that car over the years. Everyone from Ed Flemke Jr. to Woody Pitcat to Ted
James
Christopher.
Savali.
Daniel Hemrick even drove that car. So, yeah, they've had a lot of great guys wheel that number 79 machine over the years. "61 laps to go in this event that is finding Tom Buzzy out in front right now."
Yeah, Tom Buzzy right now in control here with 64 laps completed. Carson Lofton, of course, he led all those laps, first 50 laps before getting tangled up there with Buzzy right now being listed as 17th.
We see a couple of pit signs that have been laid out. Carson Lofton's crew is telling him to come in, as well as the Hillbilly team, the 07 of Jonathan Smith being told to come in.
77, Gary Putnam, he just got the free pass. And continuing to look at the temperature, now down to 60 degrees. And just as we said, you know, I would not be shocked with these temperatures falling if you don't see some teams make some air pressure adjustments and some chassis adjustments, because the track going through a change, and looks like Gimmerling and Burt Myers, they're starting on the outside of the first 2 rows. Each of them passed 10 or 15 cars in the pits to get up there.
Easily past 10 or 15 cars. Matter of fact, a lot of their work was done for them coming down for that pit stop, because they were running at the rear of the field previously. They were 11th and 12th and 13th, and boy, now they are right up there. They are right up in the top 5.
All right, field out of turn 4. Green flag is out, and let's see if Tom Buzzy in that 25 can hold on here as they race out of turn number 2. He's going to lead. How hard is Patrick Emmerling going to press him?
Emmerling not pushing the issue just yet, but look at Jimmy Blewett and Burt Myers going side by side down the front straightaway, and oh, it looks like Andy Seiss slow in the back.
Yeah, I think he's working the car back and forth as we go back up to the front now. And Jimmy Blewett down on the inside of Burt Myers for 3rd. You know, I wonder, and I talked about it during that caution break, if these teams may use Tom Buzzy as the rabbit right now. He's on that the old rubber. He's going to be slower.
Oh, trouble on the back straightaway. It looks like Andy Seiss is involved.
And look, that's why he had a problem.
There goes the tire. That was why Andy Seiss was shaking the car back and forth, trying to feel what was going on with it.
I think he knows now.
Tough break for Andy Seiss. When I was talking to him yesterday, he was kind of frustrated. He said that they were just a little too loose with this race car. It wasn't handling. When I chatted with him today, he said they just weren't feeling very comfortable. They didn't feel too confident with it. And right about now, the tough day is continuing for Andy Seiss in the Alexandria Hair Studios Married to the Track podcast.
Well, maybe they can get him back out there. We'll have to see. But that right rear tire coming off, and you would imagine that all the lug nuts were probably not tied after that pit stop, but you never know.
It's tough to say. So many variables involved in racing. It's never just one thing. But it looks like here comes the tow trucks, and they're telling him to pick him up from the back of the car.
Should be able to pick him up and take him back, and maybe they can get another tire on there and he can get back out.
It doesn't look like they're going to have.
We don't need the double hook, guys.
They're not going to double hook it. He's telling one of the tow truck guys to go on your merry way.
Thanks, but no thanks. And again, look at the pavement down on the bottom there.
Mm-hmm.
And look at all those marbles, those little balls of rubber down there. And again, the
chief on that car really has a
out there, and I'd say that right rear is a lot more secure now. Stay on the lead lap the longer the run goes, just by virtue of the choose and the way that the cautions feel. So if you use them right, you can definitely hopscotch your way through the field as the green is back out. Good start for Emmerling on the outside. Let's see if he wants to get up there and try to lead, or if he's going to let Buzzy back in front of him. This time he keeps his foot in the gas, and looks like Emmerling's going to go to the lead here on lap 67.
And that is fresh tires working for Patrick Emmerling right now. And the reason why that outside line is moving is because all those guys have fresh tires. And there goes Myers to the top line of the track. He'll go to second.
The question for Tom Buzzy is how far does he go back? Do the cautions fall his way to where he can get the rubber at a time to where he can work his way back up through the field? And can he stay on the lead lap the longer the run goes? Right now, doing a pretty good job. He's only dropped back to third. He's got Blewett back behind him in fourth, and then a battle for fifth between Jason Myers and Matt Hirschman up to his outside.
Great battle going on right now. Matt Hirschman with that fast car underneath him. Oh, trying to go to the outside. Almost scraped the wall coming off of turn number 2.
And I think you got to be careful coming out of turn. Whoa!
Uh-oh.
There he goes. There goes Jimmy Blewett. We saw he and I believe it was Jason Myers battling there. Matt Hirschman comes to a stop. Cody Norman stops.
And real heads up by Matt Hirschman to lock it down really quick, not make contact with Jimmy Blewett. And Jimmy Blewett looked like he had help from behind.
Well, we'll have to see. And again, I hate to keep bringing it up, but if you look there on the concrete curb, there's marbles all over this racetrack. So if you get up and get out of the groove at all, you could be going for a ride. Right now, I saw Jimmy Blewett quickly moving around, and he looks like he's going to go have a talk with somebody.
He's looking for somebody, probably looking for the guy that helped him around. It was tough to see who it was that actually got into him. It's Myers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Jason Myers. He's not happy with Jason Myers right now. When he drove up next to Myers and took a swing at him. And, Jimmy Blewett's also one of those guys you don't want to mess with either on the track.
John Smith, we saw him climbing out of the 07, and now Jimmy Blewett is going to drop back, and he's throwing his hand around, telling them to go by him.
You can see the hand going up. He's frustrated, but just by that arm movement right there.
All right, let's watch.
Here's the replay of it.
There's the contact.
Yeah.
You could just barely see it, but looked like Jason Myers' car pushed up just a little bit, and there's Matt Hirschman. Watch the 4 down here on the inside of the black and green 99. I think Myers hit the curb.
It's really tough to say because Myers is down as low as he can go. He can't go any lower. And
if we go back to that other angle, if we get a chance, watching, I think he hit the curb. It's hard to see because you can't actually see the curb. He's already off of it.
He's already off of it. But it is possible to get your left side up onto that curb because it de-wedges the car and shoots it up the track. It could have done that and gotten into Jimmy Blewett. So the contact may have been unintentional.
Well, that's another one of those things we talked about the 602 modified race. At a lot of racetracks you go 24/7 Channel 2 on connected devices. So lots of good stuff on Racing America as the Choose Barrels out, Emerling low, Myers high, Tom Buzzy low, Matt Hirschman high, and again, or that was Jason Myers actually. It looks like Matt Hirschman goes to the
went
bottom.
low, Crum went high.
Yeah, these guys aren't any fun. We just saw one guy that didn't go the standard odd even.
You know, Jay Crum could be a dark horse in this too, because he's been really fast all race long. He's been lingering in the top 10, and he likes this type of racing. He said he enjoys it a lot compared to late models. And we're getting ready to go back to green, Alan.
All right, Patrick Emmerling on the low side for the first time tonight. Burt Myers on the front row. A couple of those drivers racing for the win and racing for the Promoters Challenge after starting at the rear. Myers got a good run up on the outside. Let's see what happens back to turn 3.
He got a really good run. Patrick Emmerling wiggled off of 2, and that killed his momentum.
And Burt Myers will go to the lead here with 55 laps to go. Jason Myers up to 3rd. Battle now for 4th as there's Jake Crum in that 12 car trying to move around the 25 of Tom Buzzy.
And he does. And that outside lane is on the move because he's pulling Matt Hirschman right alongside him. And look at the smoke that's puffing out of the number 12 of Crum's car. It looks like when he gets back to the throttle, you see those little puffs of smoke coming out the back.
I wonder if that might be the brakes or what issue, whatever it is, it's starting to affect the car because he went way up the racetrack. That allows Hirschman by, and that car's starting to...
Oh, trouble in the back. Austin Koshnosh turned around.
I think Riley Neal, maybe.
And it looks like it possibly could be Cody Norman in the number 12.
Yeah. I think you're going to see Jake Crum come in here. I think something was starting to go on with that 12 car, and that's why we saw some of that smoke.
And Crum was definitely starting to back up. But, again, we're under caution with just over 50 laps to go.
And you know you're going to get a long green run in here at some time. You know, Tom Buzzy's got to be thinking really hard in that 25 car. When is the right time to come in and take these tires? Because right now, I don't think any of those guys that pitted earlier have had enough laps to really slow them down. As we take a look here, there you see the 66, and just looks like Cody Norman in the 12 got into him.
Yeah, he saw a hole opening up. He tried to stick his nose in there, but it was just too late.
And the car just pushed. Well, the 66 might have come down a little bit,
well,
too.
After the contact was made, you can see the front end lock up, and he had no turning on it. He was full lock to the left, and the tires were locked up.
Well, we'll see if anybody elects to come in here. The only car I see in the pits right now is Austin Koshnosh in that 66. There's one other car in there, too, Jonathan Cash.
Jonathan Cash back down on pit road in the Hillbilly Racing team. They've got the left side of that car up in the air right now. So they are definitely making some adjustments on it. Koshnosh, not a bad racer in his own right, comes to us from the ROC Modified Tour. He has a win to his credit last year at Chemung Speedrome and has finished 3rd in this event twice, actually.
Yeah, I love the ROC Modifieds. Joe Scott Nicky and all those folks do a great job. They've got ROC late models. They got several divisions.
ROC late models, sportsmen, they've got mini stocks. They are a sanctioning body that sanctions about 4 or 5 different types of race cars.
And that Race of Champions is it's been a Race of Champions sanctioned event for a long time, but it was a NASCAR race, I think, back. I mean, it's been around forever.
Yes, it used to be a NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour points-paying event. Not anymore. It's gone back to being an independent event, but still great. It was televised earlier this year. Yours truly was on pit road, so that was a lot of fun. And it was really cool to call Patrick Emmerling to his very first Race of Champions win.
Well, we wondered when Tom Buzzy thought the time would be to come in, and you know, again, I think he anticipates we're in a rash of cautions now, but we're going to get into a long green run, and he can't be caught out there with old tires. So here he comes in, and crew going to work there on the right side, and looks like they're going to take, I think they're going to take 3 tires, Derek. I think they might be changing that left front tire,
Yeah.
maybe making an air pressure adjustment, but I think they're changing it.
Traditionally, they do 2 right sides and a left rear when they do a tire change in modifieds, because the left rear is just along for the ride right now. But they're going with fresh rubber on 3 corners of the car.
Yep, and I think they changed the air pressure there on the left front. So this is a big swing here.
They're definitely letting air out if they've been on this long of a run. Right. The
in front of them.
Back to green flag racing. Burt Myers is going to bring the field to the green.
Well, last 2 restarts, the car on the outside of row number 1 has come out of turn 2 to lead. Emmerling and Burt Myers bang tires there just a little bit coming to green. See if Myers can clear Emmerling this time, and he does going back to turn 3. Emmerling gets down on that low side. Then you got the 2 black and red cars. Jason Myers down low and Matt Hirschman up high battling for 3rd.
Hirschman's got the advantage on the outside. He's able to roll that outside lane, and he takes that 3rd spot away. Here comes Carson Lofton, though. Look at him all the way back up into, I believe it's the 5th or 6th position.
Yep, that red 23 that led the first 50 laps. Right now he's got Paulie Hartwig down to his inside. Hartwig will take that spot. Now battle just in front of them as Kyle Sisko had a peek down the inside of Jason Myers, but gets back in line. And we got a car around. It's the 09 car of Hatton.
Chris Hatton out of Ormond Beach, Florida, the Generac-sponsored entry. Chris Hatton, one of those drivers doing double duty this weekend, running in the 602 Crate Modified Division and also running in the NASCAR Tour Type Modified Division. Hatton, like we said, a Florida native. Ran his first Modified Tour race at the beginning of the year down at New Smyrna.
And now it's a 50-lap shootout, Derek.
That's it. Saturday night short track shootout. However, Alan, I definitely think we are going to see
probably 100 more laps of racing.
At least another caution, at least one more caution, because that's what I think Matt Hirschman is banking on right now. He's waiting for that last race caution so he can throw those new tires on and just stomp the field like he has in the past.
Now, when I say 100 more laps for racing, that would be counting the caution laps that don't count. So just so you understand why with 50 laps to go, I would say that.
Right. You're being facetious.
Yes. Well, we're under full dark now.
We are definitely. We're under full dark, and it's the way that this race has gone. We usually start in the daylight and end in the dark. I think the last north-south shootout that ended in the daylight was Hickory, I think, when Andy Seiss won. Yep.
Well, 50 laps here to go, and Burt Myers the leader, Patrick Emmerling second, Matt Hirschman in 3rd, Jason Myers in 4th, and Kyle Sisko in 5th. And whoa, here comes Matt Hirschman.
Hirschman, who was in 3rd, pulls off to pit road, and
what do you think, Derek? Is this a little early? Earlier than you thought, I think.
It's earlier than I thought, but trying to see what they're going to do with Hirschman's car. It looks like they're going to put a right front tire on it.
Yeah, whatever it is, it'll probably be the right thing. if history's any indication.
Oh, they're going to go with whole right sides for that car.
Yeah.
Tommy Riley Neal also in. He's going to take tires as well.
And you got to think here in these, I still think with 50 laps to go, you hold back maybe a little bit. Hirschman pitting now.
One evening.
First time an 11-year-old's won it too.
Very true. Well, like we said, a man or kid could walk out of here with the win today.
Yep.
Burt Myers continues to lead off of turn number 4. Chris Hatton is going to bring the 09 machine down into the pit area. You saw him really quick in your frame.
Single file right now until you get back to about a 10th. Jake Crum continued to drop back in that 12 car. I'm surprised that he's not pitted, because I think there's something going on with it. As you see the 60 of Matt Hirschman right now back up into 15th. front of the 21, Riley Neal.
And Riley Neal chasing Matt Hirschman right now. Looks like he's trying to actually pass Matt Hirschman. And they also were one of the teams that put new tires on. So when those guys came down pit road, they came down pit road in unison.
Yeah, Matt Hirschman's not, I don't think he's going 100% just yet.
Not just yet, but the money's on the line. And when the money's on the line, Hirschman usually rises to the occasion. But going back to the front of the field, Jason Myers, nice strong run for him, running in the 3rd spot with Paulie Hartwig in tow.
Yep, you see the first, well, all the way through the top 10 right now, singled out. Hartwig looking down on the inside, though, in that orange car, had a peek to the inside of Jason Myers out of turn 2.
Yeah, everybody kind of just sizing each other up right now. 43 laps left to go in this race, and, you know, they were kind of seeing that things were getting a little wild and a little hairy. I bet the spotters were on the radio saying, look, calm down. We still have over 40 laps left in this race. And as the laps are clicking away, though, you can see Burt Myers just starting to pull further and further away from Patrick Emmerling.
Yeah, Emmerling dropping back just a little bit, and I want to see what Jason Myers tries to do here, because he's going to look to the inside. I mean, I think he thinks he needs to get going there and not let his brother Burt get away.
And that's what I think it is. I think Jason Myers has a faster car than Patrick Emmerling right now, and he just wants to get around Emmerling. I think Emmerling is quite possibly log jamming this lineup, and there goes Myers to the inside, a little bit of contact.
I think Jason Myers cut him a break there. They either bumped left rear and right front, but I think Jason Myers locked it up a little bit, and that's what that smoke was.
Well, Myers has got it back pointed in the right direction, which is good, and he definitely has a better entry into the corners than Emmerling has, because it looks like Emmerling is having a little tougher time getting through turns 3 and 4.
They're closing in a little bit here back on Burt Myers. His lead's not quite as big as it is. Jason Myers has really got through turns 1 and 2 well, and that's where he's trying to get that run coming out of turn 2. And you can see how hard he is on the brakes on that 4 car. You know, we talked about it during the day, that you're going to start seeing some of these brake rotors turn cherry red, and Jason Myers he's really working the brakes right now on that 4.
Yeah, dialing the front brakes in. As the race clicks on, the tires wear away, the fuel burns off, the car starts to get looser and looser. So, you know, what you want to do is really start adjusting on those brakes to try to help you plant the front end as you get into the turn.
And not seeing the brakes on Burt Myers and Patrick Emmerling. We go back over there on the left side of the screen. You'll see Matt Hirschman now. He's up to 13th, just in front of the 99 of Jimmy Blewett.
Yeah, Jimmy Blewett trying to keep up with Matt Hirschman right now as he goes down the back straightaway, knowing that Hirschman, you know, he's clever at these races and he knows how to get to the front.
Ooh, a problem out of turn number 2.
Trouble.
And several of the lead cars get together. Jason Myers checked up. That catches Paulie Hartwig and Cisco. And I don't think any of them made hard contact with anything, but Austin Koshnos was sitting there in the middle of the racetrack.
23 of Carson Lofton involved. The 77 of Gary Putnam not involved, but had to bring it to a stop. You can see a quick brake fire out of that number 77. He's going to drive off and put that out real quick.
Well, we'll see if these cars get their spots back.
Oh, and Jason Myers does not look happy.
He got drilled by Paulie Hartwig, but again, I mean, that's just one of those things that happens.
You can see the front bumper bent upwards on Paulie Hartwig, the third
whiz. That tells you how hard he got into the back of Jason Myers. All right, let's look here. There you see the 4 Jason Myers. While all this is going on, the 66 Koshnosh up at the top of the screen is already spun. Jason Myers, he's going to get out of the gas right there, and then Hartwig and Cisco, I mean, just nowhere to go.
And that's what it was. You know, Myers saw it before Hartwig, and Hartwig got on the back of him.
But, you know, great job by Burt Myers and Patrick Emmerling. They had even less time to react and were able to get them slowed down and turned down.
Ronnie Williams was able to slip past as well. And yeah, it's just one of those things where, you know, they saw the car sideways off the corner, backed off, and everybody just accordioned.
Man, I hate that. Watch Burt Myers there turn that car down and
Unfortunately, it's a tough break for Koshnash. Like to see, or wonder, I wonder how Koshnash got turned around, because he was sitting stopped backwards as all the field was coming off the corner.
you could sort of see, I don't know how he got turned around, but you could see him kind of spinning off of turn 2 there. And
A chance that Matt Hirschman has again to win this race. Running of this event to
Matt Hirschman had won.
I liken a race like this to a pin in the grenade. I think the rim, Alan, if you think
Matt Hirschman is shootouts. He's been in 34 laps to decide it here, and let's see if we'll get a green run as the field comes out of turn number 4. Green's out. Looked like Buzzy there in the 25, a little bit swirly under power.
nice even start, actually. The leaders are side by side going down the back straightaway. So is the second row.
Matt Hirschman, we told you no more holding back right now, and Carson Lofton knows it because it looked like Hirschman was going to be able to clear him. Now he does down into turn number 1.
This is a battle of the student versus the teacher. The teacher being Matt Hirschman, the student being Carson Lofton. And if Carson Lofton is smart, he's going to follow Matt Hirschman for the remainder of this race and try to learn from him and possibly take advantage of any weakness he may show, which isn't very often.
Nope, it's not very often, that's for sure. Right now, a battle between the 21 of Riley Neal and the 63 of Josh Lauder. That's back for 5th.
As Andy Seiss stuck up on the top line of the track, he's going to lose a spot to Paulie Hartwig the third.
And there you see Burt Myers. He's got the fresh right side tires on. He and Patrick Emmerling, they're in the 14 just in front of him. And they're working their way back into the top 10 now.
It's going to start to turn into a race from here because you have a lot of guys out there with fresh rubber on the car. I mean, right now, Patrick Emmerling gets a huge run down the back straightaway as he's trying to go to the outside of Gary Putnam.
Battle here for third. Tom Buzzy in the 25. Jimmy Blewett there in the 99. Blewett tried to cross over, can't do it. Buzzy holds third back to turn 3.
It's a great battle going on behind them with Gary Putnam, Patrick Emmerling, Burt Myers, and Josh Lauder. Now they fall into line.
And Matt Hirschman has not been able to get away from Carson Lofton now. Is that by choice? Is he just trying to hold back? One thing that I've been surprised about, look at this line Matt Hirschman is running over in turn 1.
And look at Carson Lofton. He's actually reeling in Matt Hirschman. We thought that Hirschman would start to pull away and just start gapping himself from the rest of the pack, but Lofton's sticking right with him.
Well, Buzzy closing in too there in that 25, and look how much higher he runs coming off of turn number 2 than Lofton does. I mean, he's almost a whole groove higher than him when they come out of that turn. Now, back on the right side of the screen, there you see where Patrick Emmerling in the 14 and Burt Myers are. And they're right now about a straightaway behind the leader with those fresh tires. Right now, Emmerling back in 6th and Burt Myers in 7th.
Oh, sends Putnam up the track. Contact, car gets sideways, and it looks like he's going to draw the caution.
I didn't see that.
So now we've got 20.
Williams, where every time
With him,
I think Lofton right now is at a tire deficit with these guys he's racing with.
well, that and also the tires have gone through heat cycles, so it may have changed for him. You can see him turning to try to get the car into the corner. It looks a little tight right now. He's continuing to lose spots.
And prior to that caution, remember, he was right on Matt Hirschman, and now losing spots as we see Andy Seiss, who's still on the lead lap.
Oh.
He dives down the inside. He moves Jimmy Blewett up the racetrack for 5th.
Yeah, that was a bit of a moment where Andy Size had to make the move because he was in the inside and Jimmy was starting to come down, and it was going to be a moment where they were going to make contact, and that could have been a lot bigger. So good driving on both of them to keep it pointed in the forward direction.
In the top 5 right now, between Matt Hirschman, the leader, Burt Myers in 4th, and Andy Sice in 5th. You've got, that's 16 North-South Shootout wins there between those 3 guys.
Just amazing. And what really is
Wait
cool.
a minute. No, it's 12. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's all right. I failed math, too.
Still a lot.
It's okay. Uh-oh, trouble.
Ooh.
Cisco in the wall. Hartwig involved as well. Yeah, I definitely. Wall right there in between turns.
North-South Shootout.
Carson Lofton.
Number 1 now, Emmerling gets down in front of Tom Buzzy. Burt Myers now up to the outside of Buzzy as they work through turns 3 and 4, battling for 3rd.
Emmerling has a fast car. When I talked to him earlier today, oh, trouble. Riley Neal in the Big Daddy's Trailer Sales 21 is parked down on the inside.
You know, this
20 laps.
Uh,
Pintos, yes. And 2
Yeah.
miles at Pocono, a mile the right side. So how those 2 miles at Pocono, a mile at Trenton,
racetracks.
these are big of my career, but of my life.
But it all worked out in the end.
Oh, yeah. Ray hasn't talked to me since.
He definitely hasn't given you the keys to anything.
Well, I learned my lesson. So now when anyone wants me to try their car, I'm like, nah, I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm good. Thank
And
you.
again, Hirschman, I mean, gosh, look how far he's dragging that left front tire.
Trying to build up some heat in that thing. Getting ready.
Green's out, and again, looks like a really good restart there for Matt Hirschman. Emmerling not going to be able to get up to that right rear corner. Back behind them, Burt Myers trying to hang up there to the outside of Tom Buzzy. He's got a pretty good run this time out of turn 4, I think.
Emmerling smart to tuck it in the line to give chase to Hirschman. It seems like Emmerling needs to get the car running a few more laps and get some heat in it before it really starts to gain its speed. As the car starts to run, it gets faster and faster.
Burt Myers, both of his North-South Shootout wins came at Concord, and he'd love to get one here.
Burt Myers, like we said, won 10 championships at Bowman Gray Stadium. This year, wrapped up his 10th. And look at this great speed shot coming down the front straightaway. It gives you an idea how low to the ground they are and how fast they're going.
And Emmerling's not that far behind right now as Gary Putnam and Crum race.
Jake Crum going up the track.
Looks like Putnam will be able to clear him.
And here comes Ronnie Williams also to challenge Crum for a position as well. And there goes Koshnosh in front of him trying to take the spot away. There goes Ronnie Williams. Ronnie Williams now has the advantage over Crum, and Carson Lofton coming back into the fray.
Now they single out here with 15 laps to go. Carson Lofton trying to work his way back as we go up to the front again, and there you see about a car length between Matt Hirschman and Patrick Emmerling. They're starting to separate just a little bit from Burt Myers.
And you can see how Emmerling is starting to reel him in. I mean, he needs a few laps to get going, but once they do get going and the tires start to get hot, the car's getting faster because he is closing the gap between first and second.
These two have raced a lot, especially in ROC modifieds, the Race of Champions. They've had a lot of time to study one another.
Well, the last lap by, the difference between first and second was 0.2 of a second. This time by, when they hit the stripe, it's 2.69. So it's opened up slightly, and caution flag is out again.
12 laps to go as this caution waves. I wonder because... Yeah.
So
12 laps to go in the North-South Shootout. Green is out. Buzzy did make it out in time. He's still on the lead lap as the field comes out of turn number 2 now. Again, Hirschman able to clear Emmerling, and the battle's back for third between Burt Myers and Andy Seiss.
Pretty good side-by-side run. Seiss now looking to the outside of the track. You know, most of the day we've seen guys stick to the bottom, but really cool to see a lot of them venturing to that top lane to try to make moves around, you know, the outside.
Coming to 10 laps to go, and you want to talk about veteran experience in the top 5. Hirschman, Emmerling, Myers, Seiss, and Blewett.
Hirschman just so good at these types of races. It's just, you know, a testament to all the races that he does win. But as this race kicks on, or the laps click away, it's still not over until it's over. Because remember, Emmerling's got to get a good 3 or 4 laps of heating in those tires, and then the car starts to come alive. So,
and I'll tell you another thing. It's not over until it's over as far as the fuel situation goes, too.
Right.
I don't think that Tom Buzzy was the only car that had an issue there. I think Michael Rich did, too.
Well, we've seen races won and lost on the last lap. I mean, heck, earlier this year at Oswego Speedway, the winner of the Oswego Classic, you know, won it because the leader ran out of fuel on the last lap. And we've seen crazier things happen in the past. But right now, Emmerling is getting closer and closer with 7 laps to go. He's looking to the inside of Hirschman. Hirschman makes his entry and exit into these corners really wide, if you notice.
Yeah.
He's about a half a groove up higher than everyone else.
I wonder if his car's pushing. You know, whenever he comes out of turn 2 and turn 4, I don't think he's intentionally going that high. And that's going to give Emmerling a chance here coming back for 5 laps to go. Watch here out of turn 4 and see how that car kind of pushes up. He was able to keep it down that time.
Emmerling's definitely working on him. He's getting closer to him. Yeah, he has definitely closed the gap to 0.18 differential between.
Whoa, Burt Myers, he's out of gas.
That's it. Burt Myers is, you know, he's rocking the car side by side. Yeah, he's out of gas too. Oh boy. Alan, now it's going to be a question of who can make it to the end. To catch Matt Hirschman, these short bursts, rocking the car side by to in the last couple of years. Field now getting in formation. So once again, Emmerling up on the outside of Hirschman. Now Andy Seiss is up to 3rd, Alan.
Yeah, and look who's 4th.
Austin Koshnosh.
That we were just talking about.
Yep, and he has finished on the podium in this race before. We're going to see what Koshnosh can do.
All right, we talked about Emmerling. He's got to get a better restart this time, coming down with 5 laps to go.
Oh,
he and
contact.
Hirschman, they both spun their tires. They make contact there at the start-finish line, but that's going to allow Emmerling to pull up to the right side, see if he can get a run down into turn 3.
They're still up on the outside, 2 by 2, 3 by 2 by 2, 3 rows deep, and yeah, there goes Emmerling fading back into the 2nd spot. Hirschman with the advantage.
Jimmy Blewett making an aggressive move there in the black and green 99. That'll move him up into 4th.
And here comes Andy Seiss into the picture, a 2-time winner of this race. It was one of those things where Andy Seiss has just come out of nowhere. Hirschman again slides up the track off of turn number 2.
Emmerling that time out of turn 2, his car I saw got a little bit sideways in there. You see that push from the 60, and that's going to give Emmerling what he needs to close in here with 2 laps to go.
And Emmerling sees it, and he sees it. He's trying to get up on the wheel to pass him.
Down into turns 3 and 4 they go, coming back to get the white flag this time. Again, Hirschman's car pushes up a little bit, but he gets a better run this time going back into turn number 1.
Emmerling's got to give one last-ditch effort going into turn 3 and 4, but don't know if he's going to be able to have enough space to make it, Alan.
Here they come out of turn number 4. Matt Hirschman make it 9 wins in the North-South Shootout as he takes the checkered flag and he takes yet another win here at Caraway. He had to work for it, that's for sure.
You know, it doesn't matter if Matt Hirschman shows up with his red number 60 or the black PD Motorsports number 60. They come to the track correct and always ready to take home the money.
You know, and we talked to him